This week on Dateline Abuja, in the light of all the meetings holding in Abuja, especially with ECOWAS and all of the issues surrounding the region, we take a look at Nigeria's foreign policy in the past year and how we have fared on the international stage. My guests will be joining us to have this conversation and find out what we've done wrong and how the president should be preparing himself for 2025 when it comes to international relations. Our sit down will start in a minute. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Kayla Megwa. Let's begin with a rundown of the major stories this week from Nigeria's presidency.
The Federal Executive Council has given final approval for a 2025 appropriation bill of 47,960 billion naira. The approval was given at the meeting of the council chaired by President Bola Tinubu at the State House, Abuja. Meanwhile, the National Assembly is considering a postponement of the presentation of the 2025 budget by President Tinubu from Tuesday, December 17 to Wednesday, December 18, 2024. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Mohammed Idris, disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents. President Bola Tinubu has approved new terms and conditions for officers and men of the Nigerian Armed Forces. The new regulation was signed at the meeting of the Armed Forces Council chaired by the President in the State House. The terms and conditions, which are usually reviewed at every 5 years interval, was last reviewed in 2017. Minister of Defense says this will make the Nigerian Armed Forces more efficient, just as the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, says success has been recorded in the fight against the new terror group called Lakurawa. President Bola Tinubu has presented the 2025 appropriation bill to the joint session of the National Assembly for approval. The budget-tagged Budget of Restoration, Securing Peace and Rebuilding Prosperity has a total size of 47.9 trillion naira. According to the president, the budget will change the trajectory of the Nigerian economy and impact greatly on Nigerians. Some of the key highlights of the budget include a revenue target of 38.82 trillion naira.
The 2025 budget seeks to restore macroeconomic stability, enhance the business environment, foster inclusive growth, employment, and poverty reduction, promote equitable income distribution, and human capital development.
Vice President Kashim Shettima's scheduled bilateral meeting with the President of the Islamic Development Bank in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, has been rescheduled for a later date. This is contained in a statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nwocha. Meanwhile, Vice President Shettima has offered prayers for Nigerians' peace and stability while performing the Lesser Hajj at the Holy Mosque of Makkah in Saudi Arabia. He beseeched God's guidance and intervention for the nation's leadership and citizenry as we sought divine guidance for Nigeria's leaders.
Our fourth prayer is for peace to prevail in our land. May Allah grant our land peace and social harmony. May Allah grant our nation prosperity and tranquility. May Allah grant our leaders, from the president down to our local councillors, the wisdom of Solomon, the patience of Job, and the generosity of Muhammad Rasulullah. May Allah grant us the wisdom to rule our nation well, to govern our people well, and let there be peace and tranquility and prosperity in our nation. This is our prayer, and inshallah our prayer will be answered by Allah.
Welcome back. My guest today on the program is Ambassador Chuka Udedibia. He used to be the ambassador of Nigeria to the Netherlands and a top man for Nigeria at The Hague. We're breaking down Nigeria's foreign policy in 2024, mistakes that have been made, and what to do, especially with the Trump presidency coming up in 2025. Please watch this. Ambassador Chuka Udedibia, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you.
let's talk a little bit about some of the activities of the past few weeks. It's been a very busy week in the diplomatic circle. But there are people who believe that the president travels too much. Let's get that out of the way. Is he traveling too much? Or are these visits to France, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, are these trips important based on our situation as a country?
I don't think he travels too much because if a trip becomes necessary, a president should undertake a trip. Look at the president's visit to France as something not necessarily important to Nigeria as a country. Maybe important as an issue of personal relations between the president and President Emmanuel Macron. Because since the president came to power or assumed office last year, it seems that he has this kind of excellent rapport with the president of France. I would like to link that visit with what is happening in West Africa. Okay. You're right. For Macron, it is, in fact, in any case, the visit was at his invitation. So, now, France has lost so many friends in West Africa. First of all, let me even say that France depends on nuclear power plants to the tune of more than 60%, between 65 and 70% for its electricity. And it obtains the raw material for that electricity, that's uranium, from Niger. In actual fact, the company that has been mining that uranium since Niger's independence is a French company, or has been a French company. And France has been getting that uranium literally free. If you know the price at which France was paying per ton or whatever of that uranium, is just as good as free. And of course, this has happened for more than 60 years, and now France is being weaned from Niger uranium. Now, not only that, France has always enjoyed maintaining military bases in its former colonies, especially in West Africa. Each of them now has been kicking French military bases out because those military bases have been helpful to France in consolidating its stay, even post-independence, in these countries. I witnessed it live in Chad, in 1990 or something, on an official visit. And those military bases too had played, well, from what we had, some role for France in helping change governments in West Africa. Everybody knows that. Even President Mitterrand, the former French president, confessed it. So it's not even speculation. So now, Niger has kicked France out, the French military base out of Niger. Mali has, Burkina Faso has, Senegal has, and then even the closest French former colony, Chad, just a few days ago, has also asked them to go. So, since this spate of coups in West Africa, France has been losing its friends in West Africa. And there seems, like I said earlier, there seems to be some kind of rapport between President Tinubu and President Macron, which is a good thing. Two presidents are friends. It's a good thing for their two countries because they can use that as a basis to develop mutual cooperation or mutually beneficial cooperation between the two countries, But, well, we are watching to see how...
Yes, to see how it unfolds and see how it benefits us.
Exactly.
ECOWAS is in focus right now, of course, with the coups around us. And the import of this community that we live in, this group that has decided that they want to work together, free movement, free trade, and whatnot, in the light of all of these issues. So there are a bunch of meetings going on right now. We've seen a lot of them in recent times, ministers of finance, ministers of defense in the region. We're seeing a lot of these meetings happening, heads of government even of the region, meeting and talking about things that will mutually be beneficial to them. And of course, reinstating democracy in these countries around us. It's made everyone wonder the importance of ECOWAS. Is it strong enough? Is it still the ECOWAS that we know?
No. You see, ECOWAS was established in May 1975, a sub-regional organization for integration. And it has been the most successful integrative body in the whole of Africa. We have so many other sub-regional organizations in Africa. It has so far been the most successful, I must say, until last year when, ECOWAS or Nigeria or both decided to not just suspend, but declare some kind of war on Niger, or threatened war against Niger, our immediate neighbor. So, 3 ECOWAS member states now said they are no longer interested in being part of ECOWAS. It will take effect next month. The reason I said no, that ECOWAS is no longer the ECOWAS we used to know, is that when ECOWAS was established, all West African countries, 16 member countries, 16 of them were members. Today, with the departure of these 3, one had left earlier, Mauritania. With the departure of these 3, which is taking effect next month, there will be 12. The one that is even more concerning or more disturbing is the fact that the ECOWAS territory was 6.2 or 6.3 million square kilometers. And the countries that have left and are living, that's these 4, constitute almost 4 million. That's 3.8 something million square kilometers. So what is left now is about 2.33 million square kilometers for the remaining 12, because these ones that have left have the largest land mass in ECOWAS. When ECOWAS is meeting in December, or when they met in December, the Council of Ministers, and then thereafter, the Authority of Heads of State and Government, this is what they should be discussing: the survival of ECOWAS. The president made a very serious foreign policy mistake when he assumed power last year in relation to the situation. There are certain things that happen, and that's why we talk about handling issues diplomatically. Since the early 1960s, we had this agreement with Niger that they should not dam the River Niger from their own side so that we'll get electricity. But we will help them by supplying them electricity. So Nigeria has been supplying, and they pay 70% of Niger electricity. And now that a coup occurred in Niger, we cut it off. We violated international law.
I'm going to have to stop you there because we have to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation, and we'll be looking at what the president should be doing, especially as head of the presidents in this region, and what the conversations should be. So please stay with us on Dateline Abuja. We'll be right back with Ambassador Chuka Udedibia. More on the president's visits and international relations in 2024. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching Dateline Abuja right here from our Abuja studios. And we have with us Ambassador Chuka Udedibia, and we are discussing Nigeria and international relations in 2024. Before we went on that break, you were about to tell us some of the things that you think the president and, of course, the leaders in ECOWAS should be thinking about as we move into 2025. You noted that there were mistakes that had been made, at least last year. So we are where we are now. What can be done?
Thank you very much for that question. You know, we started this discussion with the observation you made about the president's trips around the world. And so many of these trips, if not in all of them, he had signed agreements here and there, met leaders and other, his counterparts here and there. But the truth is this. After all that, what happens? Does Nigeria have presence abroad in those countries? No, because we don't have ambassadors. Till now, the president is now more than a year and a half that he came to power, and he has not appointed ambassadors. Who follows up? Who implements those agreements? We've had that problem before. I'll give you an example. President Buhari signed an $25 billion agreement with Germany in 2019, soon after he won
the Siemens agreement.
Siemens, yes. You know, not 25 billion, to reactivate our electricity system in a way that by January 2015, or by 2025, which is next year, we'll be producing 25,000 megawatts of electricity. Fine. The agreement was signed. No ambassadors in those missions, because he didn't appoint them, and so on. Here we are. We are still producing the amount of electricity, whatever kilowatt.
So who follows up on these deals?
Yes,
that is a
there are
very
no
crucial
ambassadors.
question.
ECOWAS, as far as I'm concerned, made a major mistake of pursuing, because it's an economic institution.
Yes, it's about money. It's about development of the region.
Bread and butter institution.
Yes.
But in what they called ECOWAS reform or whatever, over some years back, they now went political. Security dimension, that I have no problem with, they went political. What they called constitutional change of government should not be tolerated and all that. So that is the imbroglio they have found themselves in now. A government, people in any country could be dissatisfied with their system or with the government, and then it could take place. It should not concern ECOWAS, because they shouldn't go political. They should focus on their program, economic program, integrated, like the ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme is one of the best, I must tell you. Free movement of persons, goods, and services is fantastic. ECOWAS has been making tremendous progress in West Africa. We all have common passport in West Africa. I don't know where else it happens. I don't know if you get the point. Around the world, until this happens. Why? Because of this political dimension they have gone.
So this stand we've taken, and then, of course, with the other issues going on and the Trump presidency, what do you see when it comes to international relations between Nigeria and the rest of the world, and the impact these situations would have on us?
Let me take the last first. That's the Trump presidency. Dollar is likely to become stronger under the Trump presidency, at least for the first 1 or 2 years, or maybe throughout his entire first term, if BRICS does not destabilize, anyway, That's another subject altogether. You know. So
you can say it if they don't destabilize the strength of the dollar.
Yes.
Because that's what their plan is, really.
Not just planning, they are going to do it.
Yes.
You know. And Trump has also threatened them. We'll just watch and see what is going to happen. You know, because it's going to be a very interesting international scenario. It really is going to happen. Because they are ready. The BRICS countries are ready. Now, Trump has made it clear that under him, the United States is going to continue to produce its own oil, go back, so that and reduce reliance on foreign oil. And when it happens, price of oil will come down, it will fall, and it will affect our economy. There's no doubt about that. So there's no doubt that it is going to affect our economy as an oil-producing country. There's no doubt about that. Then, on the strength of the dollar, by bolstering the strength of the dollar, now it will be difficult to chase the dollar because the value, our money, our currency will now be chasing the dollar, and the currency will be falling, especially Nigerian naira, which is very weak, or has been getting weaker by the day. And what will be the result? Inflation. We already have been suffering serious a situation of inflation since last year, spiraling one for that matter. You can imagine what will happen if that one also happens. So the Trump presidency will definitely have effect on Nigeria. Another dimension will be immigration. He hasn't said what he will do with respect to Nigeria or the rest of Africa, but I personally do not think it to be too different from what happened when the last time he was president, during his last term, because he made it difficult for Nigerians to enter the United States. So the one that is more worrisome, really, is the effect it will have on our economy and on Naira. You see, the statement the president made in Riyadh, to me, was a good one. You see, we need peace. Let's be frank. Yes, there could be Hamas, there could be all that, but these countries are Palestinians and other territories surrounding Israel, they are suffering. We in Africa have experienced it. That is the main reason why South Africa went to the World Court. Because they looked at themselves. When ANC was fighting against minority apartheid rule in South Africa, and even in Zimbabwe, the Ian Smith minority regime, in South Africa.
So it was a humane
yes,
call.
Then they were regarded as terrorists. ANC was, Reagan called them, all of them. Margaret Thatcher, they called them terrorists, but they were fighting for their freedom.
I mean, Ambassador, there's never enough time. And we do have to wrap it up. I want to thank you so much, Ambassador, for being with us on the program. And good luck with all the work I know you have ahead of you.
Thank you very much. And thanks for inviting me.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. Remember to let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Magwa. See you next time.